Hi, Bettina. How are you?
Hi, Julianne. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a Saturday here and it's the middle of the afternoon, so it's a good day over here.
It's pretty awesome here too. It's pretty sunny and highs should go of 26.
Nice, nice.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
where are you in Canada for anyone that doesn't know
We
you?
are in the Okanagan Valley, Kelowna. Well, we live in Lake Country, British Columbia, and it's a beautiful place where we can grow just about anything except for your exotic fruits. So we have it's like the Napa Valley of the United States, except nicer. It's Canadian.
Ooh, yeah. Me and Fabian have been to Okanagan a few times together. We've been there twice and we love it there. The view, the vibe, the people, the food, all of it's so great.
It's home.
Yes. And I'm over here on the East Coast, so this is cool. We got like both sides of Canada talking here.
I know. We were there and we love it.
Yeah, you were in Cape Breton and it was so windy that time when you happened to come.
Don't I remember,
Yeah.
especially having that dip in the ocean.
Oh, yes. Hitting
I,
a
I
rock
love
and I
it.
was
It's
like,
so funny. I tell people about that all the time. And you know what? And it wasn't even cold, so I love it. It was a wonderful experience.
that
Thank
was a
you.
real like East Coast welcoming. The ocean was like,
That's
I'm gonna
right.
rise up to meet you.
I'll have to come back. Hang on, I'm going to turn my light back on here because I'm in my
Okay.
lab. Here we are. I'm in my lab, and the light comes on automatically. And so if I don't move for a period of time, it goes off. So anyway, here we
So
are again.
tell us about your lab. That's a great place to start. I haven't been into the lab, but I know a lot happens there. So tell
Oh
me about
yes,
that.
this is great. When I started developing products, I was just using the kitchen, and it got to a point where it was so much work trying to prepare the area to actually mix the ingredients. And I thought, oh, this is crazy. So I asked Terry if I could have half of one of the garages. So he said, well, anyway, he did. And of course, Terry loves to shop. And so he created this amazing lab for me where I've got two full size refrigerators to keep all of my pure organic essential oils in. I buy them by the liter from overseas. I've got all the containers. I've got. Do you want to see a little bit around it?
Yeah, that'd be
I can kind
amazing.
of, yeah. Oops. I can show you a little bit around it. It's messy, of course, as a lab go. I'm really stuck. But anyway, so this is. I'm not sure if you can see. This is my computer where actually can you see it?
Yep.
I use the microscope here to actually really look at things and see what they're composed of. And here is one of the cupboards where we've got all of our some of our oils and ingredients. And then, as you can see up top, we've got all kinds of equipment to distill and make essential oils. And that reminds me, I need to make some essential oils for who. And again, as you can see, we've got all kinds of oils here that are all
Wow.
refrigerated. And yeah, so we've got equipment, we've got presses, we've got GCMS machines, we've got printers, and we've got you can see all of that. So it's really quite busy. I love my lab. I told Terry that I would be here for half an hour, and 3 hours later, I'm going, oh my God, it's 3 hours gone by. I can't believe it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love my lab. It's one of my, other than being outside, it's in my kitchen, of course. It's one of my favorite spots in the house.
That's so when you know that you're in your passion and your calling, when time just goes and you're like so lit up and then it's like, wow, the time just didn't even exist.
I know. It's great. Lucky me.
Yes. So how did you first feel called to using these products to create your own products?
Well, I started creating products a while ago, and everything that we create in this laboratory, it's been out of necessity. And for example, my skincare line, Tingle Well skincare line. When I was a teenager, 18 years old, I had a slight rash on my face, and I went to see a dermatologist. And he said, "Yeah, sure." So anyway, he wrote a prescription for me, and knowing that I was allergic to penicillin, this was back in the prairies, and I had just gotten married. And anyway, so he says, "You go with the nurse. Here's a prescription. Fill it and do whatever." Anyhow, so I went to the nurse. She cleansed my face, and I never really wore makeup other than just mascara and lipstick. And so she went to take a straight blade and starts putting all these nicks on my face. So I'm bloody everywhere. And of course,
Whoa.
I know. And that was the only time ever that I was taking the bus because my husband, was on afternoon shift. And people were looking at me strangely. I'm thinking, why are they looking at me? Until I go home and going, oh my God, I've got all these cuts all over my face. Anyway, long story short, that was the beginning of the end of a nightmare. Um, Ever since then, my skin became from bad to worse. I would see, I actually have seen dermatologists all over the world. And the unfortunate thing is that, I really don't know. I'm not a dermatologist. I can only tell you my experience and and our clients that use our products and the results that we get. I was on tetracycline. I was all kinds of topicals and ingestibles, and it made my skin, like, at one point I had boils on my face.
Wow.
Boils. And I used to be in another life, I used to be an executive. So you'd be in these meetings. You know how people sweat after they have a good run?
Yeah.
Well, my skin, my face was sweating sebum, like oil. And it was awful. And the worse it got. So I thought, okay, enough. Enough is enough. So I started doing a little research, and I found out that the reason why I had oily skin because my skin was super dry. All these chemicals and pharmaceuticals that were given to me by these so-called professionals was all wrong. They thought that my skin needed to be dried out. Well, yeah, they dried it all right, but what it did, it just it activated my sebaceous oil gland to overproduce oil because my skin was so super dry. And so once I stopped using all these chemicals, I just washed my face. I start applying a moisturizer, just any moisturizer to moisturize my skin, and the oil production became less and less all the time. Unfortunately, looking at the label of these moisturizers, there was chemicals, and because of all the torture that my skin had been submitted to, it became very sensitive. And
Mhm.
so I was very I actually had reactions to the chemicals and non-pure ingredients that were in these moisturizers. And that's when I started doing research again, because I love plants, I love gardening. I'm thinking, okay, well, what about this and what about that? And that's how it came about. So I started blending things together and trial and error, of course. And I had friends and family. Of course, I use myself is on myself first, and my husband is a sweetheart. He uses it as well because the line is for men and women. It's not just for women. And voila, here comes Tingle Tingle Wow.
Oh, I love
Yes,
that because he
yes.
helped with the name, didn't he?
He did. It was so funny. And actually, the mask was just the very beginning of the skincare line. We were going to see friends, and of course, Terry loves to go to flea markets, and I will go with him sometime, but not always. So this one morning, I thought, okay, you go. And I got up and I looked at my skin. I thought, oh, because I do a lot of gardening, right? And I'm thinking, oh, it just doesn't look glowy like it's supposed to. So I came into the lab, which is, of course, the door is right across from our bedroom. And I looked around and I thought, and of course I've done enough research where I know what ingredients does what. So I mixed a few things together, and I had just finished mixing it when my husband came back home. And he says, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I just created a mask. Would you like to try it?" "Oh, well, sure." He's
Ooh.
very supportive. He's a sweetheart. And so he put it on. I put it on, and he waited 15 minutes, and then of course I took it off because he won't do it himself. So I took it off,
Yeah.
and I said, "Well, what do you think?" He said, "It's kind of like Tingle. Wow." I'm going, "Oh, okay, that's cool, no problem." "So how does it feel?" He goes, "It feels really nice and soft." So we went for a drive later on, about an hour or so ago, after that, and I said, "You know what? Maybe we should start a skincare line because this was so, it came so natural to me." And I said, "What should we name it?" He says, "Well, how about Tingle Tingle Wow, the way my skin felt." And so there it is.
That's a perfect name and a perfect story to go behind the name of the brand and also
Thank
what
you.
you've created. So
Thank
what are
you.
all the products that you have created so far just in the skincare line, and maybe just sharing what inspired you to create each one and what do you personally use?
Okay, well, of course, I use my own line because I
Yep.
know what's in it, and it's organic, it's non-GMO, it's I have all the essential oils here. So the very first one was the mask. That's what started everything. So we have the mask that you can use once or twice a week. It all depends, how much time you spend outside. And again, this is for men and women. It has that particular scent that's not too flowery because men don't like to feel, flowery,
Yes.
and yet it's a nice scent. Of course, I know you've enjoyed it, and everybody comments on it. After that came the toner. The toner is very important because, like, and I am starting, well, actually, I'm in the process of starting a cleanser to go with the line and a couple of other things. But, but it doesn't matter what cleanser you use because the is on your skin to make it clean. So what makes your skin clean? It's, yes, sure, you can remove dirt and makeup and whatever else you're using, but to remove those items. But then what's really important, what remains on your skin. If you have anything remaining on your skin, then that could, first of all, clog pores. It could dry your skin out, therefore increasing your sebaceous oil glands to produce more oil. So toner is the next one. So toner, and you use a toner to remove any residue from any cleanser. Absolutely. After that, you can use a day cream, which is we have the brag about Tingle wow, brag about moisturizer. It's both for day and night, and it's really interesting. We ship it all over North America and of course in Canada and Mexico even. But when people first start using it, they're so used to using large amounts like they would for other skincare lines. So they, I would get comments back, oh, it's greasy and whatnot. And then I'll ask them, well, how much are you using? And they'll say, I use this much. I'm going to just cut it by a third. And the best way, and of course, you can't really, everybody's skin is different. And so you have to kind of play with it. So you
Yes.
start with a small amount, and if your skin really absorbs that, and it doesn't feel greasy or anything, and it doesn't feel tight or anything, you can apply a little bit more. But just trial and error, because everybody's so different. That's what you have to do. But more is not better, really.
Yes.
So once they took my recommendation, they love it. And I had two women that said, oh my God, how are you ever going to make money on this? It's going to last forever. And I said, that's okay, because, I want a product that's, it has a good value and does what it's supposed to do. And it's all natural. We're not contaminating the environment. We're not contaminating our body, and it does wonders. And then we did, the other one is the Salvigny, and we have Salvigny for the face and décolleté. And we also have the Salvigny for around the eyes, which is a very
Yes.
delicate area. Now the Salvigny you can use it on your face and décolleté during the day and at night, of course. But for the eyes, should only use it at night because it is essential oil based. And I have to tell you, none of our Tingle Wow skincare line has water in it. They're
Okay.
all pure ingredients. That's probably why they feel a little heavier than other brands that you might find on the market. The other brands you might find are really creamy and fluffy and whatnot. It's because there's water emulsified in there. I would
Okay.
have that. So what you get is real value. You get the real thing. It hasn't been filled with water. And and because we wear mascara and whatnot, and having the oil, that might make it run. But yeah, so those are the items that we have created for the Tingle Wow skincare line.
Perfect. I personally love using the product as well. So
Thank
I wanted to have
you.
you on because you're my friend and I love what you're doing, but also I genuinely love them and have been using them. And I just got some for my friend Lena as well, and she's really enjoying the products too. And
And that's
that's what she
awesome.
said. She's like, it's heavier but absorbs really well. And she's like, it feels like a luxurious on your skin. She's like, it's actually doing something, not just like going on and sitting there. Like, yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank
it's
you.
really great. What
Well, we
are
want it
some
to work.
other Yeah, what are some other products that you've created since?
Well, we have the skincare line, and of course, we have a therapeutic line, and we have a home and garden.
Right.
For the therapeutic line, we have a balm for eczema. We've got another balm for psoriasis. We've got, if you've got, I'm not sure, but I know in my world there have been people that, friends and family, that like to wear sandals a lot in the summer, and even though they sweat, their feet crack, and it's because of the.
Yes.
I'm sure you've known people that have had that.
Fabian's feet.
Okay, so we have another line. It's called 3 in 1, and basically it's very very rich. The only time you want to put it on your feet is at bedtime. So get yourself into bed and rub it on your heels, and by morning your feet will feel like silk. We've got that. We also have a hand sanitizer, which is awesome. Um, and I have to tell you, people love this. We did a flu clinic, and we had over 100 people come for the flu shot. We used this bottle, and we still had a little bit left at the top here, and so it does over 100 sets of hands. So,
Wow.
and the interesting thing too, I have to tell you about all of our products. They're made with food grade essential oils. It's not GMO. They're non-toxic. They don't taste great, but some people said, "Oh, well, if you have bad breath and you don't have gum, take a little bit of the hand sanitizer and your mouth will brush." I'm thinking, really? Anyway, so we've got that, and we also created an amazing line. It's our just once sunscreen, and we also have the after sun. It's pretty amazing. You apply it just once and not very much of it, and you can come in and out of the water. It's waterproof all day long. It's an SPF of 30 plus, and so even though it comes in a little tiny bottle, this will
Mhm.
be for a very long time because you only have to use it once. You put it on
Yes.
before you go outside, and then you don't have to worry. We've got that. We've got for pets, itchy ears for pets. We've got sprays and droppers for ticks, both for humans and pets. We have one. You being in the cannabis, and both myself and you being in the cannabis industry, and a lot of growers. There are a lot of growers in the Okanagan Valley, and when they go and pinch the leaves off for whatever reason, they get that stickiness to their hands, and they
Yes.
have to use these incredibly strong chemicals to remove that stickiness. Anyway, so one of our friends, he's a licensed producer. He said, "Oh my gosh, it's so terrible because you're scared to use it because the chemical, it's of course your skin is absorbing it, and it's so
Yes.
toxic." And so anyway, I had promised his wife that I would create something. And anyway, she came over for drinks one day and she says, "Bettina, did you produce that thing yet?" I'm going, "Oh my heavens, no." And I had just had one glass of wine, and you know how tipsy you get, one glass of wine. I'm going, "Oh my God, oh, I'll go right now." So I came into the lab, and five minutes later, I presented her with the sticky hand solution, and they absolutely love it. They don't have to
Cool.
use toxic chemical again. We have candles both for wasps and to prevent wasps while you're eating outside, and they're awesome. They're made with soy wax and essential oils. We have sprays for mosquitoes. It's called Stop Don't Bite. We have it in a candle and in a spray, and again we use it for our grandchildren because sorry again, we use it for our grandchildren. There we go, there's my light again. I actually created that for both myself and them because I swell up when I get mosquito bitten, and so do my grandchildren. But when I saw them, after because I don't see them very often, they live far away from me. They bruise like a month after. They still have these bruises from mosquitoes. So I created that for them, and it's awesome. And you can spray it on your clothing as well. We have a therapeutic line that's also called Grizzly Strength. So if you've got a headache or if you've got sore muscles, and believe me, I'm a gardener, and Terry says, "Oh, your bottom's up all the time you're out there." So I do get on
Yeah.
my walk, and so I apply that at night, and it really helps me go to sleep. We have a good night balm, and I think your friend got that. This is pretty awesome, and I've
I
had
use it as well. Me and Fabian use it at night.
Did it help you?
Yes. Yeah. It's like this cute
And
little ritual now. It's like right for bed, I'm like rubbing it on, then I'll do it for him. It's super cute. I really enjoy
oh,
it.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And we also have, just in case you forgot to put the spray, we also have the scratch attack balm. So if you get bitten, apply some of this balm and it'll stop the itching. We have diffusers. We've made our own blend of the thieves oil, both the pure and the blend. We have that both for diffusers and for to use on the skin. And then we've got for fruit flies. Being in the Okanagan Valley, we have a lot of fruit, and of course, I have a lot of fruit in my home. And there's
Yes.
nothing worse than having these pesky fruit flies all over the place. So I developed
They're
again.
so annoying.
Oh, they are. I mean, you open your mouth
Yes.
and there they are. So, and again, out of necessity, I created something. So we have the blend for the diffuser. We have the spray that you can spray on the fruit itself. We also have for the garden. We have for deer, so animals don't eat your vegetation. We have for aphids, and we have for spider mites. So for those people that are growing cannabis indoors, we have the spray that will kill the two-spotted. It's a contact spray that will kill the two-spotted spider mite.
Wow.
And we also have for rodents, because we live out in the country, of course, little mice come around. Well,
Yes.
these wonderful little sachets, I can tell you they last, and everything has been tested. So we had it at the hangar where our clinic is, of course, with airplanes and whatnot. So they last for exactly 30 days. You hang them on either 20 feet apart, and 30 days later, no mice or rodents will come through. So it's pretty awesome.
I need to try the mice ones in Cape Breton.
Did it help you?
Well, I didn't get to try them yet, but I think I should order some so I can try them out.
Oh, for sure. They last a long time. Like I said, 30 days. We have 8 to a pack, and they smell nice. And if your dog or kid gets into it, it's not toxic.
Yeah, not
Nothing is
like
toxic.
putting poison around.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, no,
Or
definitely
it
not.
freaks me out, those like sticky catcher ones. I'm like, I don't want to find a mouse stuck on that thing. Like that freaks
No,
me right
no.
out.
And I don't like traps either. And
No, I just
so,
want them to go somewhere else and live their great
yes,
life. Like,
yes. We have shipped these as far as Chicago, and people that are friends of ours that have a mansion, and of course, sh- being out in the country, it doesn't. Mice don't discriminate whether you're rich or
no,
poor. It
they
doesn't
don't.
matter. They find a spot they want to go in, they'll go in. And so we've shipped them to Chicago. We've shipped them to San Diego, up north in Fort St. John. We've shipped them Saskatchewan, and so they work. And I use them all the time. I have them in every doorway.
Yeah, great.
Yes,
That's great.
thank
So,
you.
what are some great testimonials or stories that you might have heard from, like maybe three? We'll choose some ones that really stick out in your mind of people that have used either the skincare or the home and garden, and they really noticed such a huge difference, or that you've seen yourself in them.
Okay. The home and garden one, the deer repellent or the wildlife repellent, it's pretty awesome. People have used it. We finally fenced our area because I was always trying to push the envelope. We have had scientists come here to actually test the product on different plants, but because I am who I am, I'd say, well, maybe it'll last a little longer. And of course, that maybe one day longer, the deer would come. It's unbeknownst to us. Our property got built on a deer trail, so you used to get hurt
Oh,
coming through every day. Again, out of necessity, that's why we produce. So we've got friends that live in a complex, and they have a
yeah.
little area of a garden. Well, surprisingly, even deer. I mean, it was built on a deer area, so they'll have deer coming in, eating their tulips in the spring, and they've got neighbors, cats, and dogs. Well, I found out through this particular person that not only the wildlife doesn't come around, well, they'll come around, but they'll smell our product, which of course smells like a salad dressing. You can actually drink
Yeah.
it. But it also stops cats and dogs from going on your flower beds. I'm going, oh my God, this is great.
Yes.
Something that I never thought of testing. And so they have tried it. So now people actually buy it to stop cats and dogs from going on their flower beds. We had another one that tried the sleeping balm, couldn't sleep, could not sleep. Their mind was overactive. And So they tried it and they just love it. They said, well, it doesn't get me a sleep all night because I have to get up to go to the washroom. And if I can't go back to sleep, they'll take a little bit more and back to sleep they go 5 minutes later, which is
Wow,
really,
great.
really with the sunscreen. This is a really funny story. Friends of ours went to Cabo and
Yeah.
they wanted to try the sunscreen. And so I won't mention names. So he's a big muscular fellow. He was there with his fiance and he used a sunscreen. And then we come back home and he said, that shit really, really works because I couldn't take it off. And I'm thinking, this is really odd because I've never heard this before. And I said, how much did you use? He said, well, just about the whole bottle. I'm going, oh my gosh. Of course you had a hard time taking it off. Like you must have layered it, like 10 times. You
Yeah.
a little bit and he's, oh, okay, well, I guess I should learn about the product before I try it on. And so that was really funny. So they do use it now. And we've had wonderful experience with the mosquitoes. Again, people go out there and they don't want to use chemicals. There's DEET
Yes.
and there's God knows what else out
And the
there.
bees.
And the bee, yeah, and the
Trying
bees.
to
Well,
save the
actually,
bees, poor
the,
things.
well, exactly. Well, the bees. It's really interesting. We have a bee spray actually, as well as a candle. Um, anyway, back to the stop don't bite. You can spray it on your clothing and it does not stain, which is wonderful. And
Okay.
you can even spray it on your pets. You can, and because it's so safe. But with the bee one, I can tell you a little funny story about our bee candle. Um, and of course, we're making it into a spray now for people that are allergic to bees. But the bee candle is really interesting. As we're building our pool, I had to dig a trench between a rock wall and the cement. And my husband was going to go and use the excavator. I'm going, no, 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 no. You're going to wreck the cement. Forget it. It's not going to happen. So here I am, a 64-year-old with a pick and trying to dig a 16-inch trench. Anyway, I did. So one day, 2 or 3 days later, he says, why don't you buy, I'll go and buy you lunch or let's go for lunch. And I said, not like this. So he came back with lunch and we sat in our chairs. And of course, wasps and there was not a wasp around. And then all of a sudden you open a bag of food and they're swarming around you. And I thought, oh, darn. So I went and lit one of our candles and bees disappeared. They absolutely, we're talking 10 seconds later, there was not a bee around. So they work really, really well. With the mice, with the sachets, we had friends that actually have a cabin. And every time they would go back, they would find droppings everywhere. And so they bought some of the sachets and they cleaned everything out. They hung the sachets where, I could follow the instructions. They went back 8 weeks later, and the sachets apparently were still working because there was not a dropping or sign of mice around. So it's really positive.
Yeah.
With the skincare line, the mask, I have so many people, who say, "No kidding, it's Tingle Tingle Well," because it's exactly how my skin feels. So yeah, it's good experiences. It's good getting. It feels wonderful getting the support of our neighbors and our customers, and it's nice that they email us and let us know.
Perfect. And how old are you right now?
I am
Just
64
everyone.
and a half years old. Yes,
Yay.
I love my age, and it's an exciting time in my world because my grandchildren are growing up and they're a little bit older now. My granddaughter's graduating next month. We It seems that I'm more creative now than I wish I was this creative in my 40s. Instead of being an executive, I know I'm in nature and I'm working with plants and just making all kinds of discoveries, and I love it. I really, really love it. I love what I do. It's not a job. And I look forward to creating all kinds of things. And I also wanted to mention, Julianne, and especially for you, if people have needs and they don't know who to turn to, we do custom create. So whatever
Beautiful.
ailment they have, we do custom create. We'll do the research. We'll test it, and then we do all that. Yes, we do.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Also, you'd mentioned earlier about 5% of the net profit going somewhere. So if you could share that and your
Yes,
personal connection to that,
yes.
would be great.
Yes, absolutely. 5% of the net profits of the Tingle Well care line will go to the veterans of Canada. I'm a little passionate about that. Um, it's kind of personal, but my nephew was in the Iraq War, and he came home safe, thank God. But then I saw Fabian, and it broke my heart to see the damage, and that's what gave me um, the idea that I should donate.
They're making me teary too.
It's so important
It
because
is so important.
they fight for our freedom, and they don't get the support that they should.
Mhm.
Go veterans, go!
Yes, go veterans, go! Yes.
Yes,
Yes, I so appreciate that, like, to donate part of that to something else is just amazing, and to choose something that's so true and close to your
yes.
heart makes the message even more powerful that you're moved by your message, but other people also will be too.
Thank you. Well, people should buy, and at the end of the year, they'll get that check from OMG Solutions.
Yes, so where can people find you?
They can. I don't have a website because I'm so busy creating, but they can always email at OMG 2013 at iCloud.com. So they can place their orders in, and if they want to have a list of all of our products with prices, I will more than happy send it to them. And we do ship all over.
Okay, great. Anything else that you would like to share? Any words of wisdom, tips, connection, anything that else you'd like to share?
Well, for me, the most important thing is to be natural. Stay connected to Mother Earth because we are part of it, and stay away from chemicals. So the more natural you are, the longer you will live. I'll give you one example. My husband's mother is 101 years old, and she
Uh,
is in an amazing shape, and she does use my products.
oh, so
Yeah, so
cool.
go
It's like I'll have to
natural.
get her
Everybody
on
goes in.
here.
Yay!
Tell us your secrets.
Yeah, actually, it's amazing. She's an amazing woman. Drink red wine, use natural, and eat lots of chocolate.
Woo! I'm all for the chocolate. I'm like chocolate
Me too.
every day.
That's right. That's right.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, Bettina,
Thank you,
for your
Julianne.
time
This
and
was
all that
awesome.
you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Keep in touch.
Thank you.